What up, y'all? So this video is about what to prioritize if you're kind of just starting your fitness journey, right? And I think people who've been working out for a while can still benefit from this video. And it's a short video, not spend too much time on this, but before you worry about anything, right? Before you worry about intensity, weight selection, going to failure, form comes first, and it has to, right? Because if you're doing something poorly or incorrectly, you're not working targeted muscles anyway. So it doesn't really matter if you do drop sets, supersets, back off sets, if you're doing training to failure, how much volume should you do, all these things, because your form's crap, right? Like if your form's not good, if you're not working the targeted muscle, then there's no point of adding intensifiers, which are all those things I listed, or adding weight, right? So for example, you see guys in the gym all the time, and my inner trainer is just like, just do your workout, Chase. Just don't worry about it. Just do your workout. So for example, when they're doing bicep curls, right? And they like they rock to get it up. And when you actually look at their arm actually, the angle of their arm doesn't change, right? So they're doing more of a shoulder workout than a bicep workout, right? So maybe they feel it eventually in their bicep because they're holding a static bicep curl, right? But if you're constantly just kipping it up like this, you're not actually targeting your shoulder more than your bicep, and you're going to feel a pump because you're holding a static bicep curl. So rather than, fully contracting and fully flexing your bicep, right? Like that's a full bicep curl. Whatever bicep curl type you do, you need to fully extend the elbow, fully flex the elbow to target your bicep. And so form has to come first. So, and this is a pride thing too, right? It's especially for I think anybody, for even me as a dude, like I want to look like I lift a lot of weight. But there's a story I heard, and I think it's relevant to everybody. There was and I don't even know if it's real or not, but it proves the point. There's this big, bodybuilder type dude in the gym, and he's doing a bicep curl, actually, ironically enough. I didn't even think about that. But anyway, he's doing a preacher curl, right? So preacher curl is when you have a pad supports you braced properly, and so you can really target the bicep to keep your shoulder and hips and everything out of the equation. And so he's doing a 45-pound dumbbell, which is a pretty, heavy bicep curl, especially for a single arm. Anyway, he's big old dude, right? And some kind of like a smaller guy, kind of like me, more just lean type, comes up to him and says, "Hey man, like I do 45-pound curls too. Why don't I look like you?" And the bodybuilder kind of tongue-in-cheek responds, "Well, my 45 is heavier than your 45." And so it's kind of, a tongue-in-cheek way of saying he is able to internally target the muscle belly of his bicep, right? Which is more of a mind-muscle connection thing. And that takes years to develop, y'all. And I'm not saying you have to be there right away. But you don't need a lot of weight if you are training appropriately and if you're actually targeting the specific muscle. And you see this another time too. What's another movement that you see that with like lateral raises? You see guys kind of like swinging their hips and using momentum to move the weight. Well, if momentum is the thing moving the weight, that means your muscles aren't the thing moving the weight. So you want to be braced appropriately and stable when you go up for your lateral raise, so your delts, right, the thing you're targeting, can accomplish the movement so you can train it. So before you worry about looking cool by lifting a certain amount of weight, and you see guys too when they're squatting and they just like barely go down like 3 inches, right? It's like, oh yeah, you can stand with a lot of weight on your back. That's cool, but you're actually not training your glutes or your quads in their full contractile range of motion. So get the weight down, get the form down first, right? Form is most important. Even if you're one of our more advanced programs and there's drop sets implemented or back off sets or intensifiers, whatever the case may be, if you're at a point where the form isn't where it should be yet, then don't do it. Keep doing straight sets. Straight sets being just, you have a range, right, of 8 to 12 or whatever, or I'd say you shoot for 10. And most of our programs too, the first month is always kind of just get used to the form. You can potentially train to failure if you want, but get used to the form, and then month 2 is when we start adding intensifiers, volumes, and things like that. So wherever you're at, focus on form first. If you notice that you bump the weight because you hit the top of the rep range, awesome, cool, you need to bump weight. But if all of a sudden your form just craps out when you bump the weight because maybe you're in a gym where they don't have like a middle ground, you have to go from a 30 to a 40 or something like that, that's a big jump, right? And you can't do a full contractile range, we have 2 choices. Either accept the fact that you can't do a full contractile range and stay with that weight until you really get the form back down, or bump the reps a little bit in the lighter weight. But eventually you need to make the jump, right? And so you need to have progressive overload, which we're going to talk about in a different video. And so yeah, form comes first. Wherever you're at, focus on form. Watch the demo videos. Ask. You shoot one of the coaches a message, and we'll respond to you as best we can with form videos and stuff like that, or tips or tricks or whatever the case may be. Get form down first. Form's more important. Form's most important. Also to prevent injury, right? I mean, so many injuries happen because people just have bad form. So get your form down first, and let me know if you have any questions. God bless, guys.